Hi, Ellen.
Hi, Harold.
How's it going? How
How
you
you
doing?
doing?
So, Alan, who's davening for Rosh Hashanah at your house? You have a chazan
I'm
there?
not sure. Um, Kusavitsky, I think.
Why not? Why not?
Why not? Yeah. It's open. You want to apply? I don't mean you're going to hire you, but I mean that you can apply.
I
The only
can't.
thing
I can't duchen and daven at the same time. It's too much.
yeah, I'll guarantee you a Kohen. I'll give it the first
Okay,
Aliyah. I'll give
it's
you the
a
first. That's
it's a
it. Yeah,
deal. And
yeah.
and I won't
You
call
know.
the cops. I won't call the cops.
Oh, okay. We're thinking about it. We were learning more before about a woman where she says yes, we don't know what she says maybe. So,
Right.
my father used to say, a lady, if she says no, she means maybe. If she says maybe, she means yes. And if she says yes, she ain't no lady.
That's right. I like
Yeah,
the
it's
other line
good.
about faking it. I like the line about faking it. Right?
Oh,
You know that
faking. Oh,
line?
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the two places in life. Yeah.
You
You
can't
can't
fake
fake
it.
it waste of your life. Yeah. Maybe tell George that.
Yeah,
What
I
did
think
you
yeah. You tell it. Your joke.
tell me? I'm
George,
curious, guys.
two places in life you can't fake it: in learning and in the bedroom.
The ladies can.
My 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 father-in-law, who was a rabbi, a big rabbi, he told me that joke.
but Hungarian.
Yeah,
That
yeah. One of his balabati must have told him that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on Tesvav 15. The Idich, Rabbi Lazar, what does he do with the word ozno? When it says, you shall take his ear, right? And Evid wants to stay forever, you have to pierce his ear. So what does he do with the limud of ozno? Ahilik zer shava hudasa. It's a gzera shav, it's a connection between two inyon. Rabbi Yezer minayin l'ritziyah she be'oizen yemonis. When you put a hole in his ear, you do it in the right ear. Nemar kan ozen, v'nemar laholon, by a mitzora, where it talks about putting the dam on his ear. Which ear? On the right one. Malaholon yomin av kan yom. So since the mitzora, it says ozen, we learn that when you do the ritziyah for an eved, it's in his right ear. The idich, how does the other Manda Omar who uses ozno for something else? Im kein lemakra ozen, my ozno, you learn both limudi. The idich, what does he do with ozno? By the way, ozno, v'lo ozna. Only a male eved can decide he wants to stay forever and have his ear pierced. And ama ivriya cannot. The idich, how does the other Manda Omar learn that? In nafkala, mi v'im yomar ha'eved v'lo amma. The Eved will say he wants to stay, not the Amma. So what does the other v'idich? What does the other Mandomer do with this limud? Orle atshuyomer kishu Eved. He can only, once he's been freed, he can't go back and say he wants to stay a permanent Eved. He can only do that while he's in Avdus. V'idich may Eved ha Eved, because it says with a hey nafka. The idich eved ha'eved loy dorish. The other mandomer doesn't learn that drasha. My time at the Tanakama, the Amar moicher atzmo ein manikin lo. Why does the Tanakama learn that a person who sold himself, the master doesn't have to give him gifts when he goes free? Because mi'et rachmana gabi machru bezdin. Hanek tanik lo. In the parsha where Bezdin sells him, it says lo, you have to give gifts. And not to somebody who sold himself. The idich, what does the other mandomer learn with lo? Lo, v'lo liyarsha. That the gifts do not go to his heirs. Freitimor yarsha v'may lo. Sochir kari rachmana. The Torah called an eved a sochir. Ma sochir pulosel yarsha. Just like what he earns goes to the yorshim. Afhai pulosel yarsha. So why shouldn't the gifts go to the yorshim? In fact, that's how the Gemara learns. Elalo v'lo lebal choiva. The gifts are given to him and not to his creditors. Midasvirlon ba'alma kravnos. Normally, we hold of the principle of Rav Nosson, the Tanya, Rav Nosson. Minayin lanoisha b'chavero mana. If A owes B and B owes C, so A can pay directly to C. Minayin shemotzim is evinos to zeh tamad lomer v'nos nashar shamlo. Also lo lafuke. The Hanik Tanik law comes to say no, you can't give the gifts directly to a creditor. So the Yidich Ba'amanami lo sphere like Rav Nosson. The other member Amma says we don't learn like Rav Nosson. My time is the Tanakama learned that somebody who sold himself the master doesn't give him a shifcha to have children. Miyat Rachmana Gabi Machru Bezdin, because in the Parsha, which talks about Bezdin selling him, says, Im Adonav yitin lo isha. Lo, v'lo lo mocharatzmo. V'idich lo bal korcha. That means the other mandara learns that the master can force him to sleep with that, whatever shivcha he wants. V'idich mi kimishnes chasocher nafka. The Tanaki mishnes chasocher abdu chasocher in ovid el bayom. A day worker works in the daytime. Eved Ivri ovid bein bayom bein balay. And Eved Ivri works day and night. Now, b'chitala das chashev Ivri ovid bein bayom bein balaylo. But look for never kitov lo imach. You have to treat the Eved Ivri like you treat yourself. Im chabamaichol, im chabamishta. You don't work at night, so you can't work him at night. So the work we're talking about is a special kind of work. He can give her a shifcha to sleep with, so he can have children, and those children will belong to him as avodim. But maybe he has to agree. That you need law to teach me that it can be forced on him. We're still trying to find the Tana that doesn't learn the Gzeir Shavar Sochir Sochir. Hi Tanahu. It's the following Tana, the Tana. V'shav el mishpachto. It says, Atznas Yovel Yavorima. The Eved works until Yovel. The Yatzame Imachu Vanavimo. V'shavu Mishpachto. Armav Zeben Yaakov V'Melkos V'daber. What is the Torah talking about? Iba Moicharatzmo. Are we talking about somebody who sold himself? And within the 6 years, Yovel came. Harei Kvar Omer. Achnas Yovel Yavori Mach V'Yatzame Imachu. Even Nirtza, if we're talking about an Eved that pierced his ear, Harek for Omer. There's already a pasuk with that. Hash'ena kos v'daber ela shemachru bezdin shtayim v'sholosh shonim v'nei haYovel. Bezdin sold him before Yovel. ShaYovel motzio, and Yovel takes him out as well. But if we have Gzeir Shavar, lamali, what do we need a special limud? Neilef misachar socher. Must be that this Tana doesn't learn the Gzeir Shavar. Arav Nachman Oilam Tana Zeyalev Socher Socher. And it's strict. We need a special limud. Somebody who sold himself into slavery, he didn't steal anything. He didn't do any aveira. Aval machru bezdin david isura. Aim a niknasei. Maybe we find him and he doesn't go up a yovel if he was sold 3 years before yovel. Kamash Malan, that even if Bezdin sold him because he was a ganef, he goes out with yovel. Amar ma. Benirtze arek for Amar. We're already talking about, we already have a pasuk for Nirtze. Mayi. What pasuk did we have for Nirtze? The Tanya. Vishavtem ish el achuzaso, v'ish el mishpachto tashuv. B'ma kosev. What is the Torah talking about? Even moicharatzmo, if we talk about he sold himself, arek for Amar. It says that shnatsu yavel yavadimah. Even machru bezdin, if we're done bezdin, harek v'omer v'yatzai mimach v'shalom mishpachto. Ha ein hakos v'daber el benir tzushtayim v'shal shalom v'nei hayovel. Somebody who pierced his ear 3 years before yovel. Shayovel might see the yovel takes him out as well. My mashma, where do you see that? Amar Rav Bar Shila Makra, ish. Ezer davar shenoig b'ish v'noig b'ihisha. What attribute applies only to a man, not to a woman? Every omer is a ritzia. It's this din of piercing your ear and staying forever. The itzrich lemichtiv b'machru bezdin. We had to be told that he goes up a yovel when Bezdin sold him. The itzrich lemichtiv b'nirtza. And you had to be told the same din by nirtza. You couldn't learn one from the other. The iyashmina and machru bezdin. If I would have only been told the case where Bezdin sold him, maybe we should do lomat yazamne. He has no other way. Mishum lomat yazamne. He doesn't really have another way of going out. Aval near to the matoy zamne emeniknasa. But the Nirtza, he had his time, 6 years, and then he didn't want to be freed. So maybe we give him a fine and we make him stay forever and he doesn't go up by Yovel. So the Torah had to say he goes up by Yovel as well. And Iyashmin and Nirtza, Mishum, Ovid Le Sheish Shonim. A Nirtza only becomes a Nirtza after the 6 years. So he fulfilled the 6 years. But maybe when Bezdin sold him and it's now the 3rd year, maybe aim alone, maybe he doesn't go out, maybe he has to do a full 6 years. Tzricha. V'yitzrich lemichtav la'olam, excuse me, Yitzrich lemichtav v'shavtem ish lachuzaso, v'yitzrich lemichtav la'olam. Because Rabbana la'olam, Avin la'olam mamish, his whole life. Because Rachman v'shavtem, he goes back home by Yovel. Because Rachman v'shavtem, maybe he only goes home if he hadn't done 6 years. His end shouldn't be more stringent than his beginning. Maybe he shouldn't work more than 6 years. He works at least until Yovel, even if it's 30 years. So who is the Tana that doesn't learn the Gzeir Shabbat? Rebbe. It's Rebbe. The Tanya. By never Ivri that's sold to a goy, where you can free him if his relatives redeem him. If he hasn't been redeemed by his relatives, he goes out by Yovel. Rebbe Oimer be'ele hu nigal, ve'e nigal b'sheish. He goes out with redemption by his relatives, but he doesn't go after 6 years. We could have learned the Kal V'chomer sheyachol dinu umami she'en nigal be'ele. A regular Eved Ivri that's sold to a Jew, there is no din that the relatives can redeem him. Now, such an Eved Nigal B'Sheish goes out after 6 years. There, Shenigal B'Eileh, an eved, if he's sold to a goy, can be redeemed by his relatives. Eino din shenigal b'sheish. He also should go out b'sheish. Talmud lamer be'ela. Be'ela hu nigal ve'nigal b'sheish. If Rebbe was the one learning Exer Shava between Sachir Amai Ka'amar Umami Shenu Nigal Be'ela Neilef B'Sachir Sachir. Would have been very simple to learn Exer Shava because it says Kischir Shana. And you could have learned that even maybe an Eved sold to Yisrael could be redeemed by relatives. He doesn't learn that. So must be he doesn't learn the Gzer Shava. So the Gemara rejects that. Amrav Nachman Bar Yitzchak. No proof. Loilam ki olav sachar sachar. Rebbe does learn sachar sachar. Shiny Acha, the Amar Kra, in the case where he sold to a goy, it says Ododo, his uncle, or Ben Dodo, his cousin, Yigalen. Lezeh, v'lola achia. Only when he's sold to a goy can he be redeemed by relatives, but not if he's sold to a fellow Jew. Umantan the Polgalei Rabbi. So who was the Baal Machloikes of Rabbi? Rabbi Yosef Glili Rabbi Kiva. The Tanya. It says V'mlo Yigael Be'ela. He doesn't go out with these redemptions. Rabbi Yosef Glili Oimer Be'ela. The emphasis on Be'ela. Be'ela l'shachrer. He goes out free. But if he's redeemed b'shar kol adam, somebody else comes and pays his debt. It's l'shibud. The guy who paid the debt, the Eved works for him until he pays the debt. Rabbi Kiva Oimer be'ela l'shibud. Meaning, b'shar kol adam, it means when the relatives redeem, the guy goes to work for them. But b'shar kol adam l'shichur, he goes out free. My time in Rav Yosef Glili. Amar Kaim lo yigael be'ela. So if he goes out with the relatives, he goes free. Ela be'acher, but if he's redeemed through somebody else, then v'yatsa b'shnas yovel. Then he only goes out by yovel because he's meshubit to the person who redeemed him. Reb Kiva Omer lo yigael ela be'ela. V'yatsa b'shnas yovel. That means if he gets redeemed by other people, then he goes out only by yovel. Excuse me. If he goes out with the redemption by the relatives, he goes out by yovel. But with everybody else, he goes out right away. Rav Yosef Glili midi ela be'ela ksiv. So by krokomifuki. Ododo obendodo yigaledet. Zegulas kroivim. That's when relatives redeem. Oh, he siga yado. He got his own money. Zegulas atzmo. V'nigal zugulas acher. That strangers redeemed him. This is all redemption from a goy. Rabbi Yosef Glili sover mikra nidrash lefanov. Just like we darshan things next to each other. Shadi, you use the same limud between gulas kroivim and gulas atzmo. Just like redemption of relatives to him, redemption of himself. Magulas atzmo, when he redeems himself l'shichur, he goes out free. Av gulas kroivim is l'shichur, goes out free. But Rabbi Kiva sover mikra darsh lachra. Shadi gulas acherim l'gulas atzmo. The redemption by other people is compared to him redeeming himself. Magulas atzmo l'shichur, av gulas acherim l'shichur. So the machlokas is how they darshan the psukim. So if that's how they're arguing, so both the Rabbi Yosef Glili, both the Rabbi Kiva, what do you need be'ela? So ilav be'ela hava mina mikra nidrash bein lefonav bein lachrav. Maybe you darshan both ways. The hakol is l'shichur, and any redemption goes out free. So I had to be told be'ela to be mamait, either kroivim or other people, depending on their shita. If that's the case, that you learn that from be'ela, the kusha comes back. What do you need Eila be'Eila for? Ella, they're not arguing in psukim, besvara kamifli. They're arguing in logic. Somebody coming along, strangers, to redeem him from Goyim, and they're giving out $5,000, they're not going to do it for his benefit. They're going to do it because they want that guy to work for them. If it's for freedom, they wouldn't have redeemed him. Rather, they have to work when he redeems. When he pays the goy, the guy goes and works for them. And Rabbi Kiva Sover Mistavra Gulas Kroivim Laship. That when relatives redeem, they also want the guy to work for them. This is a prevention if relatives would redeem and the guy would go out free. Somebody would sell himself every day and rely on his relatives to redeem him. So we can't have that. Who says in all of the cases, when you redeem an eved from a goy, you free him. And some say it's l'shibur. Any redemption from a goy frees him completely. Man chachamim Rebbe, the mafik le lahai be'ela l'drasha achrina. They use be'ela for different drasha, like we learned before. And mikra nidrish bein l'fon of bein lachra. It's all learned together, so it doesn't make a difference whether it's gulas acherim, gulas koivim. He all goes out free. I v'Rebbe hi the pasuk v'im lo yigael be'ela. What does he do with that pasuk? The fact that he goes out in Yovel when he works for Nachri, we already learned that. What does he do with that pasuk? He uses it for the fine price. He goes out in a Yovel. That if the evidence is not redeemed, but prior to that, he goes out from the possession of the goy. Now, the Gemara is going to ask, is it a goy that is under your dominion, like a ger tosha that he lives under your law, or not? So we'll deal with that tomorrow. Okay.
So according to Mandi Yomer that said that.
Yes.
According to Mandi Yomer that says that if somebody redeems him, he gets to work for him. He has to work for him. If he doesn't want to go out from the present, does he have a choice or not?
No, because we want to get him out of the goy.
And if for another Jew, if he redeems him, or for somebody else, Acher redeems him.
Acher means another Jew. Acher means another Jew.
Yes, so I know. So there, he has no choice. The Eved has no choice. Who bought? If guy redeems him, he's buying it from the other goy, so he has to work for the next.
He's an asset. If the goy wants to sell him, he can sell him. He has no say in the matter.
Yeah, he has no say. But whether it's a Jew or goy, who has him now?
Well, the Eved, remember the Eved, we're talking about an Eved Ivri, we're not talking about an Eved Kanani.
I know,
but
and
he has a
Eved,
debt.
right.
Yeah, he has a debt.
Right.
The debt hasn't been paid. Now, the Chachamim say, if redemption money is given, he goes out free, no matter who redeems.
Right, yeah, but the other
From the
one
note.
says.
Rabbi Yosef Aglin, Rabbi Kiva argue. Okay, just housekeeping. Daf Yomi tomorrow, 6:30. Serban Rabbanon that we missed last week at 8:00.
Sure.